Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Let's talk about Italian citizenship. In March 2025, Italy introduced significant changes to its citizenship laws, impacting both current and future applicants. These modifications have sparked widespread discussion and concern among those affected, but before we discuss the key changes, let's do a basic comparison between Italy and three countries: the United States, the UK, and Austria. For example, in the US, citizenship is normally a birthright for anyone born within US territory. That was the law yesterday, but considering the current debate around birthright citizenship in the US, that may not be the case tomorrow. Another example. Citizenship is automatically acquired if your mother was an Austrian citizen before your birth. But for men, you will need to have some legalization paperwork done for your child to become an Austrian citizen. You can also gain automatic citizenship if your parents were married before your birth and one of them holds Austrian nationality. These are the straightforward routes. Then there is the UK. There are a few routes for automatic citizenship, but let's stick to the basic one for now, which is if either of your parents are British. Also, if one of your parents had settled status, also called indefinite leave to remain before a childbirth, then that child may qualify for automatic British citizenship. So, in Austria, it's automatic if your mum was Austrian before your birth, regardless of the mother's relationship status, meaning citizenship is passed on from mothers to children much easier. But in the UK, it may be slightly different. These are just laws around basic citizenship eligibility that vary from one country to another. So, what is the Italian government up to? Italy also has some basic eligibility criteria like Austria and the UK, but slightly different. This video is not about the basic eligibility criteria, but about some specifics that are rare in other countries, but very popular in Italy. All right, let's start with the key changes. Decree Law 36, issued on March 28, 2025, introduces stricter criteria for acquiring Italian citizenship. The changes are primarily aimed at individuals claiming citizenship through descent, particularly those born outside of Italy. The key word here is those born outside of Italy, meaning for people that reside outside Italy. Some may say, why and how would someone outside a country obtain citizenship without any form of residency? Or some could argue that, given the fact that Italy is one of the countries suffering from serious demographics issues, meaning the Italian birth or replacement levels are quite low, why would the government shut down available route for more citizens? Well, it appears the Italian government is want to address something defective in the old system, reason we will discuss shortly. Although some will argue in support of the old law due to Italian history of emigration, particularly around the 1800s and 1900s, during the time many Italians fled to different countries due to poverty and wars. Meaning the old citizenship law were designed to keep the Italian door open for families to keep ties with their home country. So now the government realizes something isn't right. There is a possibility that more Italians are living outside Italy. Because according to the Italian National Statistics Office, it's estimated that currently, if the old eligibility criteria were to remain, there could be up to 80 million eligible Italian citizens living outside the country. That's over 20 million more living abroad compared to those at home. Or in more simple terms, 80 million eligible people is equivalent to the population of Germany. Now let's talk about the new eligibility. Eligibility for descendants. The new law limits the eligibility of descendants of Italian citizens born outside of Italy, particularly affecting those seeking citizenship through the principle of jus sanguinis, right of blood. So what does that mean? Is blood not thicker than water as we used to know it? Only time will tell. Keep listening to draw a conclusion. The significant change here is the introduction of a time limit. Only descendants up to the second generation born outside of Italy are eligible to apply for citizenship. This means that great-grandchildren of Italians living abroad may no longer qualify unless special conditions are met. Meaning if your great-grandma or grandpa have been living outside Italy for decades, this new law could affect your eligibility. Now let's go to another keyword: language requirement. This notable adjustment is the enhancement of language proficiency requirements. Applicants must now demonstrate a higher level of proficiency in the Italian language, reflecting a broader push towards cultural integration. Now let's do another quick comparison here. In the UK, one of the key requirements is to demonstrate some level of English language and Life in the UK test for those seeking to become British citizens. This sounds good and straightforward, but not quite, because if you are a second-generation Italian born in Argentina, then the likelihood of proficiency in Italian may present some issues, thereby creating hurdles for you to navigate to gain citizenship, and this also applies to migrants in Italy seeking citizenship through legal residency routes. So, in a nutshell, the language requirement may become the main obstacle for those seeking Italian citizenship. Now let's talk about residency requirements. This would also affect extended Italian family members seeking to be nationalized, and also migrants living in Italy will be affected by this requirement. In other words, anyone seeking citizenship through residency, the law now mandates an extended period of continuous residence in Italy to become eligible. This change aims to ensure that applicants have a meaningful connection to the country, working, paying tax, and other legal activities. This completely removed the old way things were done, meaning the era of going straight to the local authority to trace ancestry back to as many years would come to an end. So now let's talk about the rationale behind these changes. According to the Italian authorities, these measures are intended to streamline the citizenship process and reduce the administrative burden of processing applications. The government emphasizes a desire to ensure that new citizens have a tangible link to Italy, both culturally and linguistically. And the government is concerned, for example, a large proportion of the 300,000 people who gain Italian citizenship in 2023 live outside the country. It's expected the decree law would face legal scrutiny and potential amendments as stakeholders advocate for more inclusive criteria. However, the Italian government remains firm on its stance, citing the need for a more manageable and coherent citizenship policy framework. In summary, Italy's revised citizenship laws mark a significant shift in policy, aiming to ensure stronger ties between applicants and the country. While these changes reflect governmental priorities on integration and identity, they also present new hurdles for many individuals seeking to affirm their Italian heritage. Thank you for listening. Please share, like, comment, and subscribe. Catch you soon.